Hello and welcome to Whatever's on the Mind.
Where we tell you what's on ours. Welcome to episode 5.
Whoa!
Number 5.
Five.
Coming out.
Cinco de Juno. That's not June in Spanish.
No?
I'm sorry, Senora Monsalve, I failed.
Yeah. You failed me too.
Anyways, I'm Travis.
I'm Jesse.
And yeah, we're here to tell you what's on our minds today.
We are.
As a little plug, wait, really quick, I want to mention.
Plug it in.
I just got done a very long shift of work, and I came here, and Jesse's mom literally made food and let me eat it.
She did. We had steaks on the grill, fried scallops, and Caesar salad and some rice.
And the scallops were perfect.
Yep.
They were translucent. They were beautiful. They were yummy.
Crispy.
Oh my god. Your mom needs to give me her scallop recipe. If that's...
I'll ask her for it. It's probably just garlic. I'm going to be honest.
And I love garlic. It's good for the heart, right?
It's good for the heart. It's probably good for your stomach, your bacteria.
And speaking of good for the heart, stomach, and bacteria...
Cheerios.
Close.
Coming at you.
Medical marijuana.
Okay,
that's what's on my mind today.
This is the weed episode?
Kind of the weed episode, but not quite like, we're not going to sit here, get stoned, and be like, weed is good, man. But I want to like...
It can be.
I could, but it won't be. Because this is what it's going to be. Transition into what I'm going to talk about right now. And that is, isn't it crazy how popular medical marijuana has become and how quick it blew up?
But people are still incarcerated because of marijuana charges.
Bingo!
Yeah,
Bingo! Bongo!
By the way, Travis didn't tell me what the topic was today. Not that we really script it, but...
he passed the quiz.
I did.
A+.
I just knew where it was going.
A+.
So, especially because you got social background, you're into politics.
That's me. Sociology.
It was easy peasy, orange peely.
Exactly. So, yeah, let's talk about that. So, I remember growing up, you know, you always had the DARE lesson. Marijuana is going to ruin your life, basically.
I've grown up, too.
Have you?
No.
I don't think either of us really have.
No. Fun fact, I didn't go to the DARE thing. I was one of the 2 kids that never went. Because I told my mom, and I was like, I already knew what weed and stuff was.
No kidding.
I was like, I don't need to talk about it.
That's so you had to sign the form to not do it or whatever it was?
Yeah, so you just had to sign, you had your parents just sign like, yeah, he doesn't need to do it.
Wow.
So I didn't.
My mom was like, you're doing this because you're not ruining your future, Travis, with the weed.
You can ruin your life much more
as she's
more
blazing
easily.
it up in the basement, honestly. Thanks,
you can
Mom.
Ruin it much more easily with alcohol than weed.
I mean, that's true. But yeah, so I remember going through DARE, and you get the lecture of like, you know, hey, guess what? Weed's bad for you. Don't do it.
Oh, shocker.
Thanks,
DARE Lion.
Literally. It's actually been proven that DARE is not effective at reducing.
Shocker, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Shocker. That's tough, dude.
Like,
TUFF.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Officer Mayfield. Sorry, he's a good guy. Kind of, sort of. Anyways, so, yeah, so you get this lecture. You get this lesson in life. And then 10 years later, here comes... like this research and these ideas and stuff, and then all of a sudden medical marijuana is the new thing. And I remember when it was very first coming out, and like
medical marijuana,
how those studies were coming out, and
like official,
Colorado was like the first state to do it, right? I believe it was Colorado.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
I remember how big of a deal that was, because I was like, wow, wait a second, my whole life has been a lie. Like, marijuana is so bad for you. And then all of a sudden, it's like, it's good for you?
Right.
It's like when you're eating sugary cereals and, like, Jesse's trying to gain weight. And he's like, wait a minute. All these stories about not being able to eat sugary cereal was wrong because I'm trying to gain weight. And that's a really bad example because you probably don't eat that.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know, like, all of a sudden, it's good for you and stuff. And then shortly after Colorado legalized it.
Right. Thanks to South Park.
Yeah.
Of course.
Was it really?
No. I think South Park's in Colorado.
But so
like
after
where it takes place.
Colorado happened, Maine kind of jumped on the bus. I think they were like the 3rd state. Because I think it was
Maine?
I think so. No. I think...
Kelly was definitely before Maine.
No, I think... Oh, maybe Maine was like 4th. I thought I went Maine, Washington...
We weren't...
Sorry, Colorado, Washington,
medical?
Maine.
We haven't had medical for very long, man.
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely were not top 3. There's no way. He's looking this up right now, guys.
Yeah, I am.
So cannabis in Maine. Wikipedia.
That can't be right.
Wikipedia
says on November 2nd, 1999, Maine legalized medical.
I disagree.
No way. Hang on, let's see.
I mean, it might have re-illegalized, you know.
Right.
or it was like super strict where it's like you can only use it if you're in the hospital or something, or like a doctor specifically prescribes you for it or something.
Well, wasn't that the whole thing about medical marijuana? Was like before doctors couldn't prescribe it, and now they could?
I don't know. I honestly don't know too much about the medical side of it. Really.
I don't know the history.
I just know that it's still, in Maine, it is still not legal recreationally. You still have to have a medical card to buy it and stuff.
But wasn't that on the ballot a little while ago to make recreational?
I don't follow our local politics.
No, I
probably
think
should.
It was to make it recreational a little while ago.
Did that go through?
I think it went through, but I think they're just kind of working out the kinks or whatever.
Okay, so we're kind of working out the legality of it.
Yeah, I feel really bad because I don't know what I'm talking about. And we're just kind of going on this. So
we're looking it up. I mean, it's kind of, the results are varied.
Yeah. So wait, no, I'm looking at a map right now that shows a diagram of states that are legalized, medical and decriminalized, decriminalized, and fully legal.
Hit them with the source too.
It's DISA.com, I guess. DISA.
DISA.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
Yeah. So we're not, copywriting.
Well, not even that. It's just like, I'm just looking at a map here.
Yeah,
blah,
that's
blah,
true.
blah.
But anyway, so the map's showing that like there's a ton of states where medical marijuana or just marijuana in general is legalized. Actually,
yeah,
so like
it says it's legalized in Maine, just straight up.
I think that's the color.
That's what the color.
That's what the color says.
No, that is, yeah.
So Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Washington, California, Nevada. It's just just throwing a few
Oregon.
out.
What's that one? That's right beneath Oregon.
Oh God.
That's not.
That's Washington. So Washington, Oregon.
Oh, that's Washington State.
Washington, Oregon.
Oh, Washington is
State.
the top one.
Yeah, Washington D.C. sucks.
Yeah.
Alaska,
DC
like
does
so
suck.
on and so forth. So anyway, so you have all these states where it's fully legalized. Where I'm assuming it means
recreational.
Recreational is fine.
Recreational is like the fully legal.
But anyway, so it doesn't matter about the timeline. Maine legalized it, right?
Sure. And yeah, it looks like that.
And other states have followed suit, and there's some states that are actually following suit in the terms of legalizing medical and decriminalizing it in general. That being said, think about the number of people that are still incarcerated from those.
Right.
I'm going to say petty crimes.
They're not being retroactively expunged.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So you have people that have been served sentences, and I'm going to throw this out here and plug it. Mostly, it's people of color.
It is. That is a fact. Yes.
Because I've done a lot of studies and stuff like that, but you see like side by side comparisons of term like sentences, I guess, and like you'll have a person of color who dealt weed for 15 years get 20 years worth of jail time, and then a white person who's been dealing for 15, 20 years as well get like a slap on the wrist. Here's home arrest. Don't do it again.
Yeah, and that's how the system's set up against people of color.
Yeah, exactly. So you have all these people that are still like in prison for something they did years ago that was criminalized at the time, which never should have been criminalized.
Right. Because it was a lot of propaganda and stigma against weed.
Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Because the hippies, man.
No, and honestly, like I'm not like a weed aficionado
I'm not either.
Anything.
No.
But
you just know the stats.
Oh yeah, exactly. And just like I know people that do it, and like I said, my mother's one of those people that smoke medical marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And someone like her who jumped on board when the medical cards came out and was able to do that is completely fine sitting at home doing it, while the person who smoked it 10 years ago is sitting in jail for 20 years.
Right.
And it's not right.
No retroactive action being taken by the government. Shocker.
Well, and that's the crazy part is marijuana, medical marijuana too. You say it's recently new.
I thought in Maine, I thought it was new for it to be like legalized. So much so that you can just go to a dispensary if you have a card.
Right.
Versus like I don't know what they did before. If you had to go to
I don't know.
I don't think you would go to a hospital. Maybe like a clinic you would go to instead of a dispensary.
But now, I think weed has been legalized for probably 5 or 7 years now.
Yeah, that's
when you're thinking like Colorado when it first started. I think it came like a thing in high school, right? Maybe
while we were in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, while we were in high school, so like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. So like what? Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So this has been around for a while, and it's not like any politicians or any legislators are really pushing the ballot to, like you say, free these people from the system.
Right.
And admit that, we were wrong for arresting these people for something that was really stupid 10 years ago.
Yeah, and even if they don't think it was stupid, it's still, it's legal now. There's no point of them being in jail. Even if you thought there was a point, there's no point now.
It'd be like if, like, this is out there, but let's say tax fraud all of a sudden wasn't criminalized.
Yeah.
So
That
if you
would be
committed
wild.
tax fraud, let's say like the petty things, like you have your person filing on TurboTax, they do something wrong, instead of them being like you're going to jail for 5 years.
Right.
It's like, okay, let us help you correct that and make those payments and blah blah blah. Right.
Right. Like help you fix it.
Depending on the degree, of course. But anyways,
yeah, you're not like
say something like that happened, something like that passed through, and you have people that are serving in prison, and they're not freed up after that legalized status comes to fruition. And I don't know. I really think that the main reason behind that is because the majority of people who are in prison from those kinds of crimes are people of color.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's because they're a targeted population. It dates all the way back
US,
to
I mean, even further than that, yeah.
Well, yeah, it kind of dates back to the war on crime. Or sorry, the war. I think it was the war on drugs.
It was the war on drugs.
Yeah,
the war on crime.
Yeah,
I think that's still quote unquote
fighting crime.
Right.
So the war on drugs. I just want to get the year right that kind of started up, and everything. So global campaign. What year? Kind of the 1970s. Yeah. So I thought it's kind of like the Reagan
era.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I think President Nixon was the first to declare
Nixon into Reagan.
Yeah. I'm looking that up right now. Nixon
that sounds right.
So I think it kind of lasted through. But anyways,
the war on drugs explained.
Literally. Hi, puppies.
That's I'm sure you can hear that on the mic.
I love Pomeranians.
So that's 4 Pomeranians, by the way, and one big ol' Pitsky.
They're all.
He doesn't really bark though. He doesn't bark when they do. It's just the little ones.
But they're all adorable.
Yeah, but they're loud.
I really don't like how we talked about like the inhumane imprisonment of people of color based on weed, and then all of a sudden we're plugging your dogs.
Well, they start barking. You got to talk about it.
That's true.
You know,
but anyways,
it's on the mic.
So this whole war on drugs campaign really was situated in order to target people of color.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Because and the way it was being promoted too was
scummy.
Pictured as people of color, especially like Mexicans and people of Mexican descent.
Mm-hmm.
So Latinx community.
Right.
It was pictured in this way of these Latinx individuals coming into the country and selling these illegal drugs, and that, quite frankly, wasn't completely true. Of course, there's drug cartels.
Drug cartels, regardless of ethnicity.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like you look at drug use amongst white individuals, people of non-color, I like to call them, and people of color.
Right.
And you see it's about the same. And if not, it might be a little skewed for the white category, especially when you're looking at a state like Maine.
Yeah.
Most
like predominantly white.
But then you have like the LePage administration. I remember Paul LePage, terrible man.
Reiterate.
I'm related through like marriage or something to him.
You gotta.
My mom was telling me that, and I was like, no. And then
like, no
I looked it up,
and
I actually kind of cried.
Oh.
But anyways, I don't want to talk about that. So Paul LePage,
dark
when he was like talking about drug use in Maine, he specifically targeted out people of color, saying that these thugs and gangsters, which is associated with people of color, the terminology, are coming up to Maine and selling drugs. Coming up to Maine, insinuating that it's not white people within the state distributing drugs.
Out-of-state people.
Yeah.
Which is just the same campaign that Trump's kind of using it too.
It's the same thing.
It's the same ideology.
And that's been an ideology that's been around for a very long time. Let's blame these people of color who come from these low socioeconomic backgrounds and pin it on them for all of our nation's hardships.
Right.
And that's where the whole wall campaign comes from. That's where the whole war on drugs campaign comes from. That's where the whole anti-immigration campaign comes from. It's that sentiment.
All in the system, been in the system. System isn't broken, it was made this way.
Oh, yeah, that's the sad part.
Yeah.
It's
depressing.
I really like that line, actually. System was never broken. It was
never broken. Not from me. That's not an original
It was
quote.
made this way.
It was absolutely made this way.
Yeah. Well, because it was intentionally set up to disenfranchise people of color from... I mean, it's crazy. It's a history that dates all the way back to slavery, all the way back before slavery. It's just... I'm thinking about one example is like GI Bills during World War II.
What is it?
So GI Bills were kind of
bills. Okay.
Yeah, it was like an incentive basically for war veterans who were coming back from World War II to come back and buy housing. And it was disproportionately given to people of non-color, so white folks
people
in suburbs, than people of color. And the people of color, they set up redlining essentially to like target neighborhoods that were quote unquote like dangerous areas and like don't sell here. And those areas were predominantly people of color. And what they would do is take people of color and sell them housing in those areas. And this is like not even just like an old thing.
No,
so
it's not.
I think there was a study done about Hurricane Katrina and about disaster relief funds.
When was Katrina? Was that 2012, 2014?
Actually, I think it was earlier than
2010?
I think it was like mid 2000, like 2008, I want to say.
Really?
Let me look this up real quick. Hurricane Katrina, 2005.
2005?
So a long time ago.
Bro, what the heck?
I know, time flies when you're
like
not having
16.
fun.
Jesus.
Were you 15?
No, I wasn't 16. What am I talking about?
Like, wait a second.
I was like 6, dude. 16. What am I talking? Take away 10.
I was 7.
I was thinking of 2015. Sorry.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
I was 16. No, I'd be be old enough to be your dad almost.
That'd be weird if I was doing a podcast with my dad.
That'd be kind of cool though.
Honestly,
like a little father-son,
pops and son.
Right.
My voice
father-son action. Like no.
But so going like
father-son podcast.
Hurricane Katrina happened 2005, right? And the study just came out, I think, last year, actually.
Really?
Where they did the study about disaster relief funds that was given from the federal government to families directly influenced by Hurricane Katrina who lost their homes and their values and everything. And disproportionately, disaster funds were given to people of non-color, so white people. I'm going to keep reiterating that, just so people know the terminology I use.
So why do you say non-color instead of white people? Because I would just say white people.
It's kind of I don't know, kind of. It's a Beverly Tatum thing, so she's an author who talks about race and stuff like that, and it's essentially just trying to like even the playing field. I guess,
so it's kind of like
people of color and people of non-color.
It's more considerate to kind of
because you think about shades of white. And people, you don't want to think about the argument of like, well, I'm Scottish, so I'm super white, whereas you're, I have some like native
I see what you mean.
Heritage, which makes my skin a little tanner, but I still identify as white because I have that ability to. Yeah. So people of non-color allows for them to all be lumped into that one kind of area.
That makes more perspective. Not more perspective. That makes more sense. Yeah. I didn't really think of that perspective. I thought you just meant like just white people. I don't know.
No, exactly.
I didn't think of different like shades.
Because when we think of white,
different backgrounds.
Exactly. I like to include all shades of white just so we don't make that argument of like, well, I'm not white, I'm tan, so I can't. I'm not white.
Right.
I still have the status of a white individual in our society.
I see. Go on.
So disproportionately funds were given to people of non-color versus people of color, which means more families of non-color received significant funding that helped them rebuild housing, get their lives back on track, whereas people of color weren't able to access that funding, and therefore they're left homeless. They're left without a home. They're left on the streets, and guess what happens? It's a cyclical cycle.
And it keeps going.
Yeah, and it's
unfair, and it's inherently prejudiced, obviously.
Yeah, and the reason I like to mention that study is just to put in perspective of this isn't an old thing. Yeah, the GI Bill was just an example of what happened historically, but these things happen in our lifetimes.
Oh, definitely,
and they continuously happen. Like, I'm sure you know of some things that happen, and
I'm sure I do.
I'm sure you've
somewhere in the bank, in the vault.
Yeah,
up
exactly.
Here in the mind.
Like, I don't know, what kind of content did you see around like Black Lives Matter and that kind of like the unjust kind of policing against people of color?
God, there's so much, so much injustice, dude. I really hate the Blue Lives Matter and stuff and all that, or the All Lives Matter.
Yeah, and, I agree.
Because it's like, okay, you're not wrong, but like you're dismissing the fact that Black Lives Matter as much as the other lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody that's against it thinks that they're saying Black Lives Matter more. It's like, no, you idiot. You are an idiot that you think that way.
Right.
And it dismisses the movement. It dismisses people of color.
I think of the equality versus equity kind of debate.
Yeah.
So like equality would be all lives matter because you're saying everyone's on the same playing field and blah, blah, blah. And that's just not true. We need to acknowledge that people of color are, subjected to a lot of things that we aren't as people of non-color. But by saying all lives matter and having that equality mindset,
right.
Kindness is the answer. You're not focusing on the real issues at hand.
Right.
Because then what you're doing is this more neoliberal perspective of, well, it's not the fact that they are people of color that's holding them down. It's not systematic. It's their own individual actions that are causing them to be in the situations they are, which just isn't true.
And I think we touched on that in episode 302.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Like this whole individual mindset versus structural mindset.
Right.
I'm very much a structural sociologist.
Yeah.
So
I don't have much of a background in that. In anything in either individual or collective.
But I think you'd agree in saying
or
that
structural, not collective. That's kind of no, that's different.
Right.
That's different. Individual versus structure. Sorry.
Right. No, that's fair. But I think you'd agree with me in saying that it's not individual people. It's not black individuals that are causing themselves to be targeted by police.
They're not making that choice.
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
It's the system we have in place, the system of racism, in which white people benefit at the expense of people of color.
Yeah.
Which creates these situations where we have these preconceived, completely incorrect notions of what it means to be black or Latinx or any person of color.
Right. Yeah.
Like the whole Native Americans. I like to say indigenous people myself, but the whole indigenous people are alcoholics, that kind of conversation. Like a
stereotype.
They're casino gamblers. Like all those stereotypes are morphed into what we perceive individuals as, and then we attribute their downfalls to those characteristics. Yeah. So you see a homeless Native, I keep saying Native American, but indigenous people.
There are other,
I have to correct myself on that.
Yeah.
Indigenous people, you see a homeless indigenous person, and most people's first thought is, well, they probably drank themselves to homelessness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like you already have this preconceived notion of them before you even know them.
Exactly. Instead of thinking
because of this systemic racism and all these stereotypes and stuff.
Exactly.
Against people of color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so much there, and to draw this back to medical marijuana, it is people of color that are being directly affected by this.
Definitely.
My mother, I guarantee you, if she ever got pulled over in a car in a state where marijuana wasn't legalized, or if she, a cop did a raid of her house for some reason and found a couple ounces of weed, they'd let her off the hook.
For the most part, I think so. Yeah,
like maybe a slap on the wrist,
like a ticket. Well, if she's getting pulled over, a ticket for something.
Yeah,
but it's not like it's a slap on the wrist.
Right. It's not like they're going to be pulled out of their car and tasered to the ground because they quote unquote didn't comply.
Right.
There's this whole mess around systemic racism that we really need to address.
Can you move out of the country, please?
Literally.
I want to go to Norway.
Oh, it's funny because you always get this fairy tale-esque picture of the United States. Yeah.
Well, yes, the U.S. I saw something that you shouldn't say America, actually, because America is the whole...
Yep, you have South America, North America.
So I kind of have to... I'm still kind of internalizing that I should be saying the U.S. or the States.
Well, that's the hard part. We've grown up our entire lives with these terms.
It's America. Everybody's like America.
No, and that's why I struggle with like Native American versus Indigenous, because Indigenous is the correct terminology to be using.
We were taught to say Native American or Indian, but I don't... mostly Native American is what we were taught, and now we learn that it's an indigenous people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's growth.
The important part with those kind of terminologies too is that it's being done by people of color. So for me,
which is super important.
If you have I remember when Native American was made the correct terminology for Indian, right?
Right.
That decision wasn't really kind of unanimous across the Native American community at the time. Native American,
right?
And Indigenous was much more reflective of what they were, because Indigenous basically means like originally there,
right?
Which is exactly what they were. When we call them Native Americans, we're ascribing their status to American, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah.
Which is kind of dishonoring their entire past, because they have a huge past before us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big old past.
So, terminology is hard when you're talking about these things. And I think it's important that we struggle with these things, too, because it shows that we're growing and that we're thinking about these things. Just the fact that you said America and then you immediately brought it up.
Right. Well, because I immediately thought, because I saw it on Twitter. I learned a lot of stuff on Twitter, actually, because I follow the right people.
That's the important part.
Yeah, and, because it showed, the map of Canada to South America, really.
Right.
And it's stop calling this America when you really mean the U.S. or the States.
Right.
Because America is way more inclusive than you think.
Have you ever seen a size correct model map of the world?
Yes, I have. And the reason
it's disgusting.
Yes, yeah. And Greenland's very tiny, apparently.
it is very tiny, actually.
Comparatively, at
when
least.
you look at square mileage of Greenland versus square mileage of, let's say, Australia, it's gonna blow it out of the water.
Yeah. And the reason for that, I think you probably already know, is because whoever, I forget what the guy's name was when he was drawing the map, and the king told him to draw the map, or whoever it was. He told him to draw the map, and he did, but he did based on like Christianity and how big Christianity was. And so that's why the U.S. maps are so construed and just not true at all in terms of size.
I guess Anaximander, earliest Greek known to have made a map of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's basically, and those kinds of maps get revamped and redrawn based on that history. So the United States, if you look in your general classroom, if you have any maps that are pre-2000s, the United States is like one of the biggest countries there. And Russia, in comparison, is small.
And that's just not true.
No, and that dates back to like our Soviet versus U.S. relations.
Yeah.
So the United States had this big kind of Cold War and standoff with the Soviet Union. So to kind of tag back at them and kind of not talk about the significance of that country, they lessened their size on the map and increased their own.
To kind of like make this like, oh, they're not as big as a threat.
Exactly. Yeah. And you see that with a lot of countries of color too.
And we never, I say we as in the States, never fixed our maps really for schooling. It kind of stayed that way.
Well, and part of the reason behind that is funding.
Now. True.
I mean, it's incredible how much a map like that cost. Like, I don't know. Really? Do you remember those little pull-down maps they had in classes?
Yeah. I bet those cost a lot.
Those probably cost like $3,000.
No,
I'm not even kidding.
$3,000?
It's incredible how much they cost because it's a market, and they hold that market and they exploit it.
And schooling already doesn't have the funds it needs in the first place.
Oh yeah, I serve on a school board, and if you
sure do,
if a teacher came to the school board, and I hate to say this because I would wholeheartedly agree and support it, but if a teacher came to the school board and said, "I need $3,000 to change my maps," wouldn't happen. No. They would be like, well, what's wrong with your maps? What's going on with them?
It's not correct.
Yeah.
It's what's wrong with it.
No, they'd be like, just make it work. And that's...
Just make it work.
I mean, our school district, we have textbooks dating back to the Bush administration.
Our textbooks are old,
They're in
dude.
early 2000s.
They were old when we were in like middle school, high school,
They were from the early 2000s.
When you get into school and your textbooks are already old when you're growing up,
And just think about the 20 years of history you're missing out.
Yeah.
From a textbook.
This year is going to be quite the history textbook.
Yeah,
This year could probably have its own textbook.
I think so,
2020.
honestly. This is going to be a year that we're going to talk about for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, probably next year, too, to be honest. Because it's going to bleed into next year. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking about the pandemic, really. As another thing, I'm kind of transitioning into the pandemic that we're enduring right now. But we're not going to get a vaccine for that. No. Projections, whatever you want to call it, is not till February next year, maybe.
No kidding.
Maybe.
And that's
maybe March.
Fat maybe.
Next spring, essentially.
Yeah.
And that that depends on how production goes and research goes and.
Right. Did you ever foresee yourself living through a pandemic?
No. Because I thought, hey, we have
science.
We have science. Well, I know it takes a while. If it's a new strain of a virus that infects humans, I know it's going to take a long time to make a vaccine in the first place.
Well, and the crazy
thing... you think we would have precautions for that, and because of the Trump administration, he took down or defunded whatever it was, a lot of the CDC stuff.
Exactly.
He basically didn't he fire some kind of whatever general it was of the pandemic response team.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think he disassembled that entire response team. Yeah.
And it's no wonder we're leading the world. The world
in deaths.
With cases and deaths.
Yeah.
2.5 plus million cases.
And that's going to keep rising.
And that's with testing going down.
Right.
That's with testing going down. And we have 2.5 million cases.
Yeah.
We probably have close to 3.5 mil.
Going back to that science point, you think science has progressed so much, and it really hasn't. So, for example, let's talk about
also,
AIDS. Think about AIDS.
Yeah.
We have not developed a vaccine for AIDS. And how long have AIDS been around for?
I don't know.
At least
60s, 50s?
I want to say 40, 50
40s?
Years.
I don't really know when it
started. I think it was in the 70s or 80s. It
blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you think about the whole AIDS kind of
epidemic.
Epidemic.
Epidemic is smaller. But I thought it was mostly in the U.S. No.
Yeah, it was mostly a United States thing.
Yeah, so I think it was.
But I think we blamed it. 1980s.
Epidemic, yeah.
The epidemic officially began on June 5th,
81.
1981.
Okay. So
about 40 years ago.
Right.
But you think...
But that's when it blew up.
Right.
Not when it started.
But so AIDS has been around, let's say 50 years, just to kind of have a clear-cut number.
Yeah.
But AIDS has been around for 50 years, and we still haven't developed a cure for that because of the nature of the virus. And that's exactly what coronavirus is. You know, we don't know the nature of the virus. We don't have a full picture. It's not like AIDS, of course. No. AIDS is completely different.
And there have been COVID has been around in animals and stuff. This is just a different strain that infects humans.
Right, exactly.
That's what we're dealing with.
But what happens if the strain acts like AIDS? So AIDS, the way AIDS work, and don't quote me, I'm not a geneticist or whatever.
Biologist.
Whatever
it is.
So the way AIDS work is it's an ever-changing disease.
Yeah, it mutates.
It mutates constantly.
It adapts to a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So once you give some sort of medication towards it, some sort of cure, quote-unquote cure that you think. Yeah, exactly.
Vaccine.
The actual AIDS virus itself transmutes and transforms into into something else that
mutates.
Is more resilient. Exactly. It mutates. So it's constantly mutating. And what if COVID-19 ends up doing something like that?
Yeah, I do want to tell you, I did see on the news, and I don't remember what source it is because I never... It was I'm just scrolling on YouTube on the news,
right.
So I'm not I think it was probably CNN or something. It was Dr. Fauci, I want to say. Maybe he might have said this. Don't quote me on this. But COVID-19 specifically for humans has a very, very low risk of mutating. I do want to say that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
So there will be a vaccine for it, and it will...
It's just a matter of finding the vaccine and
having the time, research, production, cost.
You know what I'm worried about with that?
It's going to cost a lot, and people aren't going to be able to afford it.
Some sort of private company is going to come out and say, hey, we developed a vaccine which is going to cost $3 a pop to create, to produce.
Very low cost to produce it.
And then they're going to push it out on the market for $3,000.
Yeah.
That's a big pharma move right there.
Yeah.
But
but think of all the outrage. I mean, they would probably people I think would literally just storm the pharmacy companies.
Yeah, I would. Quite frankly, I would.
I don't see why not.
Honestly,
you're already holding insulin to this insanely high price when it can be made for $1.
I do believe they lowered the cost of insulin.
They did. They capped it somewhere for $35.
$35.
It was $35.
Yeah.
But I mean,
$1 to create.
It's $1 to create, or at least it was. Even if it still would only be a couple dollars to create.
Yeah, and that's what I hate about pharmaceutical companies.
It was $3,000 for something.
Oh, you look.
And I'm like, it's frustrating. It's infuriating.
Well, and that's the thing. You can make a profit off that. You think about that.
You can absolutely.
Okay, you create something pharma. For $1 and you sell it for $35. That is a huge profit. $35 in profit off of every single time you sell it, right?
Right. Every time.
And they were selling, like you said, for $3,000.
Yeah.
Plus. And that's the disgusting thing. And that's what I hate about our healthcare system. And I can go on a tangent. Yeah, and that's the thing. You look at developed nations around us, and we call ourselves a developed nation. We're not.
We're not at this
considering
point.
How we operate. But you look at the Germany and the United Kingdom and stuff like that, and universal healthcare systems, and that stuff doesn't fly. They have committees, they have councils that cap the price of drugs. They have universal health care, so you don't have to pour your pockets out every time you go to the doctors. It's taxpayer funded. And there's this false narrative that it doesn't work, we'd have to pay a ton in taxes, when really it'd be the top 1% that's really paying most of it. And this false narrative of, well, no one would receive care because there'd be such long rides or lines, I guess. Not rides. But
long ride.
We going to the doctors. An
hour.
Well, I guess an hour and a half away to go to the doctor. But anyways, so the thing I hate about that argument is sorry. Yeah, I'm going into it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm telling him to lean back because
basically
lean back in the mic.
I'm going into it. Okay. Anyways, so the thing I hate most.
I think we're on a different page with that. I was lean back from the mic. You're no, I'm going to this topic, man.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
I was no, just lean back from the mic.
So I can literally just
because you're right here for the mic.
Okay, so I can jump into this though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so
I was just please consider the volume level, Travis. Please.
Never. You guys will hear the full wrath of Travis versus Big Pharma. Anyways,
my voice is all the way over here. And like that's what it sounds like.
No, the thing, I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about the lines to the doctors and stuff.
Okay, yeah. So the thing I really hate about that argument is essentially people are saying if everyone has access to this, right?
Right.
Everyone has access. We'll have to wait longer to get treatment.
Oh yeah.
Which is essentially saying
it's not really true.
Instead of it's not really that true. Okay. Yeah. Maybe in like specialized fields and stuff, it might be a little longer.
Think with privatized healthcare, you still have lines.
Exactly.
You're still waiting at the doctors. I don't. Yeah.
But your argument is basically saying, for my convenience and for my health,
let
everyone else die.
Yeah.
Like that's the argument, and that's the thing I hate about America. Okay, I'm gonna United States. Taking a quote from you.
You're growing.
What we call America, what is actually the United States.
Well, because you grew up in the States, and everybody says America as the States.
The thing I hate about us is we are very individualized.
Oh,
so
definitely.
We don't really consider the health and well-beings of other individuals.
Nope.
We think about what expenses are going to have to us. Think about with COVID-19, you have people that are protesting wearing masks because it is quote-unquote inconvenient for them.
You mean without masks? You said protesting with masks?
Against wearing masks.
Okay.
I may have said that wrong, but people are protesting wearing masks because it inconveniences them, right? So here you have the small, minute social responsibilities that, may make you a little uncomfortable or may make you a little hot as you're walking through your local Hannaford or Walmart or whatever.
Deal with it.
Exactly, because what you're doing is preventing someone else from dying.
Yeah.
That 20 minutes of you feeling a little bit more uncomfortable than you would typically feel turns into you saving a life.
Or saving your life.
Or saving the life of 20.
Or saving someone in your family's life. I live with a really old dude.
Exactly.
He's 60, 61.
My grandmother has stage 4 cancer. If she got this, she'd be screwed. I'm walking around wearing my mask, trying to be socially responsible.
Yeah, same.
And then you have these other people that are literally protesting the state and Janet Mills and calling her a tyrant because they have to wear a mask. And it's just...
And it's generally the older, like Gen X, Boomer generations, I want to say. Not that we're not as millennials, but there are millennials doing it. But you know what I mean? Like the majority, from what I've seen, is Gen X, Boomers.
See, that's funny because I've seen the opposite.
Really?
I've seen a lot of millennials? More of the elderly people wearing masks. So my grandparents, for example, my entire family, I have like 3 sets of grandparents that don't ask how that happened. That's a long story. 3 sets of my grandparents all wear masks at the store.
Really?
Because
maybe they're just smarter.
Honestly, they're just thinking. They're thinking the same thing. I'm thinking.
Yeah, they're more health centric than other people.
Yes, exactly. We need to be responsible. We need to be socially responsible to protect the well-being of other people.
Yeah.
I am not. If I catch COVID-19, I most likely will not. Fall to it.
You don't have any lung issues.
I mean, I have some like asthma and stuff like that, but I'm not. I most likely wouldn't die.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't wear the mask to prevent myself from getting it. I wear the mask to prevent other people from getting it.
In case you're asymptomatic or something.
Exactly, because I could be asymptomatic and I have no idea. Yeah, and if I pass it on to someone, it's just not a good story.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know if it was in my school email that we got on July 1st, July 2nd. I think that was more for testing, but there was something in the news, and I know I'm just quoting the general news, and there's no defined source. You can look it up if you want the actual source, because I don't remember. But they did say that asymptomatic people were, like, low risk to spread it.
Right.
It's not like, it's not super contagious if you're asymptomatic, you know what I mean? Not saying it's not. You should still wear a mask anytime you go outside.
Well, just because there's still that small chance.
With this populated. Exactly. Yeah. And you don't know who has a weakened immune system when you're going shopping or anything.
Exactly.
You don't know other people's medical history, So, yeah, like, it's just be considerate. It's not hard.
Well, that's the thing that bugs me is it's literally being, the whole love thy neighbor kind of biblical kind of context.
It's performative.
It really is. The Bible is very pick and choose.
Yeah.
A lot of people...
Love thy neighbor if you want to.
If they're not a person of color, if they're not any other sexuality other than heterosexual, it's this pick and choose battle that people do.
Yeah.
And it's just so hypocritical.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I said hypocritical really weird there.
Hypocritical.
Hypocritical.
Like a hippo getting a critical hit.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. Boom, headshot. Hippo with sunglasses pulled down.
I'm just thinking of like a hippo sniper. He's got like a little sniper rifle. He's in like an RPG.
He's got the little do-rag.
That's an RPG character right there.
The little do-rag and the cigarette.
The hypocritical.
The hypocritical.
Gets critical hits.
Don't smoke.
What a tangent.
I don't know, man. I worked a long shift.
You had a long day.
We're just going with it.
A fair amount of caffeine.
That's what makes this podcast so great.
Yeah, he's tired. I'm over energized.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
He's one thing. I don't know where I'm going with this, man.
I don't know.
So yeah,
you're the Caesar salad. I'm the chicken.
Well, no, that's more Well, actually, yeah, we do compliment each other nicely.
There you go.
Dude, I love chicken Caesar salad.
Compliment you anytime.
Oh, do it again.
That shirt's pretty nice.
Ooh, your shirt's really nice. Is that new, by the way?
This is new. This is
Nike
Pro Dry Fit tank top.
I noticed things about Jesse.
Yeah, I know. I got a ton of. Well, I told you a couple weeks ago. I got like a ton of new gym clothes.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I still have to show you that tank top that I got.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
I didn't show you last time because we were kind of rushing around at the end. But
do you like my shorts?
I do. I like the coloring.
They're almost like little birdies.
That they're not khaki. Are they little birdies?
Yeah, they're like little birdies.
They're like little V birdies.
Yeah, like the little like fourth grade picture.
That's cute.
That's cute.
Sweet. I like the lobster ones too.
The lobster ones are my favorite.
Yeah.
Those are my shorts, everyone. I wear shorts.
I'm wearing shorts right now. We're both wearing shorts.
Because it's hot in here.
I like gym shorts though. I have a lot of khaki shorts and stuff, like the kind of like cargo.
Oh yeah.
They're super hot. Like they're not comfortable.
I feel like every time we record, we should plug in how hot it is in this room.
Yeah.
Because
let's plug it in.
It's too hot. That's the answer. So.
And this is a low kind of hot.
Yeah,
today.
like
Today's
last time
nice
we recorded was hot. It was.
I was sweating.
Like it's 66 degrees outside.
Yeah, and 92% humidity.
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
And we're on a second story.
Small contained room
of my house. Small contained room. To be fair, I did not open the window this time.
Oh, smart.
Coulda. Well, I don't know if that would have made it hotter or not.
Probably,
to be honest, probably, yeah. But anyway, I had the AC on for like a couple hours before Travis came over, so
made it nice and chilly.
It's been cool for like a half hour, and now the heat's kind of coming back up.
Now that we're at 41 minutes, 41 seconds.
And we've been talking, and it's just more heat from our mouths.
I produce a lot of heat myself.
Yeah.
Because I talk a lot and I'm
a
a
lot
big
of
dude.
heat when I sleep.
Really?
Yeah, like I'll try and sleep, and I only have like one blanket, and I'll just be like, I'm too hot. It's too much. It's too much for me.
See, I feel like I'm the same way, except so I sleep in a bed with my fiance, right?
Of course.
So there's two of us there, and it just gets super hot.
It gets incredibly hot when there's another person in the bed.
Literally, like I have to throw off the blanket, throw off the cover. Like I literally sleep with a sheet.
AC on? Do you have AC on?
We don't have AC in our room because we can't fit in the windows. So it's literally.
You don't have that like a little portable one?
No.
Probably wouldn't do much anyway.
No, honestly, not for our room. It's just so hot all the time.
That house is weird because the basement's hotter than the regular floor.
Oh, the basement, it's like 75 degrees.
That's pretty
74
warm.
to 75
and
degrees
it's humid,
constantly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's warm
humid.
for a basement, considering our basement's more like 66 or something.
Right, and that's what I would love.
Low humidity.
I do much better in the winter just because it's cooler in general.
Right.
And I overheat really easily, so I really like to have really nice cool weather. I know I'm just thinking about Wyatt right now. Our friend Wyatt would be the same way.
He loves the winter. He's like, put me up north on the highest mountain. I will be just fine.
And I'm the same way. So I remember 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago now.
Yeah.
One of the two. I was playing a disc golf tournament with my friend Buddha. Our friend, Buddha. I would say. Our friend.
He's
Buddha.
our friend. He's our friend.
Ours.
Our boyfriend. Like the Bugs Bunny meme. Have you seen that one lately?
What's that one?
It's like the communist Bugs Bunny where he's just like he's got his arm sticking out and he's like our boyfriend or like our whatever. But
I love it. I can just
I'm gonna look it up because it's a great meme.
I want to see it. Okay. But anyway, so Buddha and I was playing a disc golf tournament in the wintertime, and it was 15 degrees, and with wind chill it was probably like 5 degrees to -10, somewhere between there. And I was literally sweating during the entire tournament. I was playing in jeans and a t-shirt, and I was sweating.
Is this the winter tournament?
Yeah, like we did it over at a disc golf course that we really like to go to in the wintertime, and we wanted to sign up for a tournament, and it was just terrible.
Sorry, I keep laughing at the Bugs Bunny meme.
Oh my gosh.
So this is like a Call of Duty Warzone.
Me opens a box in Warzone. So, hey, I got a legendary.
And my teammate
Our
it's It's like a really construed like Bugs Bunny. It's just a really wild frame.
Look up the Bugs Bunny hour meme.
I'll have to throw it on screen.
Yeah, do it up.
Oh my god.
I love that actually.
I keep laughing at that meme so much.
So I found this really funny meme of like a baby flying up in the air. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Meme?
It's kind of like a meme.
Okay.
But it's this baby flying up in the air, like someone threw a baby really high.
Yeah.
And what people were doing were they were taking that picture and like photo editing it, so like they make the baby in like Superman, and they make him like dropping down in a war zone, and like all these funny things. And I was eating breakfast with Buddha and Alicia, and I was trying to talk about how funny this meme was, and they were like, no, it doesn't exist, you can't find it, you can't prove it. Then I finally found it, and they thought it was lame. And
Buddha and your fiance?
They didn't like it, and I want you to put in like a picture or two right here
of the what's it called?
The flying baby. I'll have to find it and I'll show it to you.
Okay, you want to? Yeah, send it to me.
Our friend Connor shared it a while ago.
Did he?
Yeah, okay. So it's probably somewhere on his Facebook.
I think I've seen that,
but it's so funny.
I have a vague memory of it.
But I mean, I guess I have a lame sense of humor too, so it's just one of those things.
Your sense of humor is like
dad.
It's modern and like a dad twist.
Yeah,
like you'll laugh at things that are kind of cringe or kind of like mid 2000s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like kind of like
I'm like always 10 years behind. That's what I tell people.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you pulled up like Velociraptor memes, I'd laugh my butt off. Velociraptor Jesus or whatever.
Yeah. We talked about that in another episode.
Yeah, we did.
Too. Yeah,
and I still find those funny today. Like I find all things funny that are old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so weird because I'm like, I'm only 21, turning 22 in a month.
We're both 21. By the way, for the viewers, we are, but not telling you. Like, I am 21.
I'm 21 too.
Our 21.
But I'm 21, and I still listen to like 70s classic rock and roll and 60s and stuff. And,
well, I mean, that's like a taste thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's weird to think about too, because like I was having this conversation today with the client I was working with.
Yeah.
But 1990s were like 30 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
30 years ago, the 90s, and I'm like,
and we were born in the 90s.
I was born in 98. Yeah.
I was born 98 as well.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where like I'm starting to feel old even though I'm not old. You know what I mean?
I'm not at all feeling old yet.
Really?
I mean, that's because you have a lot more responsibility than I do,
that's
which
fair.
Probably contributes. I don't really feel like I'm gonna be an adult until I'm like 26. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just gonna be a young adult until that time.
That's fair.
Maybe like 25, 26, but
no, dude, I felt like I was an adult since like 18, and my mom was like, "Go do your own thing, Travis."
Yeah, I definitely have in like some areas, but it's like, I mean, once you have a fiance and you have like 3 jobs technically, and it's like I'm like the complete opposite. It's like I do like some glorified chores. I say glorified chores. It's just because like I do chores for my mom, for her shop, and
she owns her own business.
Right, yeah. She has her own grooming business. And she's like semi-retired. And so it's like I'm not working for her like 8 hours a day, you know, whatever. It's like I do the cleanup for like probably 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
For like 5 or 6 days a week. It's really easy. It's really relaxed. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's just we have such different responsibilities.
Oh yeah.
That some things you're gonna feel like more of an adult, and some things like I will.
Right. Exactly.
I feel like
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
This has been. I want to rewatch this episode and be like, where did we go from talking about systemic like racism in the U.S. to Bugs Bunny meme?
I know.
You know, that's gonna be. I'm sorry for like the 180, but you know what? It's on our minds. We're gonna talk about it. It's the point of the podcast.
And that's what we're here for.
If you made it this far, congratulations.
Yeah. And sorry.
It is. And sorry. Because it is a wild ride sometimes. You know, I can't wait till episode 4 drops. It hasn't, so we're recording episode 5 right now on Sunday, July 5th.
Yeah.
And episode 4 hasn't dropped yet because we're thinking of just doing Mondays or maybe, actually I didn't want to throw this in. This is going to be like in 2 weeks or whatever. No, this is going to be next week.
Right.
But do you guys want to see us do more uploads a week? Me and Travis were thinking Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like Monday. And then you have to wait all the way to next Monday for another episode that's only like an hour long.
Yeah, I feel like 2 episodes a week would be a nice kind of common ground.
Yeah, because it's like...
And we might would have to listen to me English.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
We might have to.
What Jesse said.
Yes.
Roll that back to 1 a week just based on our schedules.
Depends on scheduling.
During the school year, because we're still in school, unfortunately.
We will be. We will be. I mean... It looks like we're going to be mostly, if not entirely, online again.
And if that happens, then we could probably do 2 a week.
I am still intent on moving into the dorms. I will let you know.
Okay.
We actually haven't talked about this before, not to this context.
Yeah.
Well, because better internet, more freedom.
Or you can move in with Alicia and me.
Isn't it already crowded? Either one.
Oh, well,
isn't it already crowded?
We're going to get our own place
pretty
soon.
Okay. I see what you mean.
So
let me know how the internet turns out, because I know that's that you guys didn't even think about that when you were looking for housing.
We were looking in super rural Maine.
Yeah, and I was like, bro, if your internet's not good, I wouldn't. That's the first thing I'm going to think about is internet when I'm looking for a house.
And that was the last thing I was thinking. And that shows the boomer in me, honestly. Yeah. the dad in me.
You play games a lot. Even if you're working, you play games a little bit.
Right.
I play games a lot.
Yeah.
Or at least I use YouTube or streaming, whatever.
Right.
Using the internet. So the first thing on my mind is can I get good internet here?
Yeah, the first thing for me was location would be perfect right here, and then It's funny because I was looking up internet service providers in the area I was looking at.
I was there for that.
Yeah, and the max packages were 25 megabytes per second, but it was $140 a month for that.
Yeah, it was rough.
And Spectrum has 50 megabytes per. Is it megabytes per second or Mbps or whatever?
It's Mbps, so it is
megabytes per second.
Per second, yeah.
Right.
And their cheapest package for just internet is $50.
But it's
100 Mbps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously different.
Yeah, and that would probably work for you and your fiance.
Oh yeah, we just need something small for just the two
personally,
of us.
I would spring for the 400 just because.
Yeah, if Jesse moves
I'm self-indulgence. Yes.
Yeah, if Jesse moves in, we'll have to order that package because he'll be sucking it up.
And I would be. Uploading to YouTube, streaming. Downloading games, just gaming. I would chip in with that, obviously.
Oh yeah, I know you would.
Or you could include it in my rent. my rent.
I can't imagine renting out a room to you, just being okay.
You know how chill that would be?
I would love that, dude.
I would be the nicest roommate ever because I just wouldn't come out of my room.
I'd be the meanest landlord ever.
Oh my god.
You'd be playing games at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd be banging on the door Jesse, I gotta get up in the morning. You gotta stop this right now.
Stop playing Apex, Jesse. We have to cook. We haven't had supper yet.
I haven't eaten in 3 days.
Oh my god.
No.
Well, honestly, I know. I don't know where that tangent was going.
No.
But I was gonna say
insight on our life.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know how the dorming situation goes if they even let us move in. They are planning for it right now, but who knows? Maybe they kick us out.
Everything's up in the air.
Maybe they kick us out after a couple months. Maybe they're you can stay till Thanksgiving break and then you got to go again. It may because.
No, I honestly think what's going to happen, and this is going
rough.
back to COVID, we're going to see a second spike pretty soon, I think. And I think it's going to be right as we're moving into dorms or right before.
Like the fall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think we're going to be sent home. I don't think we're going to have in-person classes.
I don't think we will be sent home.
Really?
I think that I'll just throw that out there just to kind of argue with that, I guess.
Yeah, do it.
But I do think they will absolutely transition to all online again. They're kind of already doing that for my school.
Do you think they're gonna do all online on dorm though?
Like you can stay in the dorms, but
right. Because I would assume they do all online and then send us home.
That does seem more likely.
That's what I think.
I would think that they would go online classes first. And then if it gets worse, they'll send us home.
Yeah.
But our colleges are very different in reactions. Yeah. So.
And my college has a lot more funding to work with. I guess.
You go to a private college. Yeah. I go to a public college.
So yours is probably thinking a lot more about the income kind of aspect of it, which admittedly my college is too quite a bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. I think it's just going to depend on what we see in August. And it's. Right now, what we're seeing is scary.
Right, and you're not moving in, right? You're not.
No,
you're just taking classes online.
I'm doing online. I might do one class in person just because it's a really, really important class.
Yeah, and it's probably and classes are better in person to learn from.
Yeah, that's the hard part. But the thing with me though is no matter what, if we do in-person classes, it's going to be disruptive. Because you're not going to be able to do group work. You're not going to be able to chat with your neighbor or anything like that. You're going to have to sit there wearing uncomfortable masks the whole time.
So pretty much. If it's a lecture class, you can go in person, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's how I feel.
No math classes.
It's all going to be lecture based, and that's the problem.
Yeah. And I already don't like lectures.
Exactly.
I don't have any lecture like I don't have any 3-hour lecture classes this semester, so that's nice.
Yeah.
So I could easily do all online, I'm sure. But I'm so conflicted because it's like I do want in-person classes, but it's also just so not worth it.
The thing that I'm conflicted about
not worth it,
I have a lot of trouble with self-motivation with those things.
With online?
Yeah, I'm a procrastinator.
Well, that was my problem in the spring semester when they sent us home. They sent us home in March, and it was just like
a month of classes online.
Yeah, was it a month? Well, it was a month for you, 2 months for me.
Oh, okay.
Because you end in April, right?
Yes.
I end in like early May.
Disgusting.
Early to mid-May. Yeah, I know. But you start earlier, I think. We don't move in until like September 1st.
Oh, that's when I move in.
I think that's when classes start. Something like that.
No, we don't move in until like late August, early September. September 7th.
Well, I thought our classes started September.
I think
1st,
my vacation is just shorter than yours. Vacation time. Like winter break and stuff.
Yeah, because we have like a month for winter break. You probably have like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Like 2.
Oh, okay, so that's why.
Yeah.
And those 2 weeks are like the May.
Yeah, it's like 2.5, 3 weeks. But anyway, so like.
Yeah.
Going back to it, like I really just don't think we're gonna have in-person classes.
No.
And it's going to be hard because, like you said, the month to 2 months of online learning that we did,
it was rough.
Was hard enough. Like I struggled with that, man.
Yeah. I was gonna say, sorry. That when I came, because when they kicked us, I like to say kicked us out.
Yeah.
Because they really did.
They gave us the boot.
They kicked us
out. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, seriously, because we had very little time to react to it.
Us too.
Yeah. So anyway, but when they kicked us out in like March, and I came home. When I come home, like although I have taken summer classes, but it was only like 2, so it wasn't that bad. But then you have like full 4 to 5 classes in March, the spring semester.
Right.
And I come home and I'm like, I'm on vacation mode when I come home.
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want. Like right now I am going to the gym and stuff. But that's luxury. That's still like it's still indulgence in that sense because it is, But with like academics, I'm just like, why would I want to do that? I'm at home. Right. I'm on summer vacation kind of mode, and it's really distracting. And also, I don't really have like an office space. Like you could consider my room that, but I mean, think of all the tech. I mean, I already have my laptop, which has I have a gaming laptop, my phone, my Xbox, my Switch. There's a PlayStation downstairs. I sound really rich right now. I promise. It's just been collecting over the years.
Your privilege is showing.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. You have all these distractions.
It's so many distractions, and I have dogs downstairs that bark all the time, and it's like,
as proof.
How can I focus like that? Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I have all these distractions and everything like that, and the trouble self-motivating and everything.
And not to mention, I'm single right now, and you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
That on top of it, whether it's good or bad, is a distraction.
Right.
It's something you have to think about. It's something you're responsible for.
Yeah. Whether you're, engaging in trying to find a significant other, or if you're, having your time with your significant other, it's distracting. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not going to be ideal. It's not going to be great.
No, it's far from ideal.
Now, let me ask you this. So I feel like my college is more apt in August when we start seeing spikes to increase to be like, no, stay home, because we have a lot of people from all over the world who come to my college.
You're much more kind of global.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of out-of-staters, out-of-country. Even.
Honestly, a lot of our population comes from like Massachusetts and New York.
Yeah. New York makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know with your college being a state college, whether or not you have a lot of out-of-state people.
We do still have a fair share of out-of-state people.
Yeah.
Like I said, like New Hampshire, Mass.
Yeah.
Boston.
Okay, so kind of New England-ish.
Boston is Mass, right? I always, for some reason, it got ingrained in me that Boston is its own state in my mind, which is silly.
I mean, pretty much.
Either that it's its own state or that's in Maine for some reason.
No, Boston is huge.
No, yeah. Well, that's probably why I think like that. But no, it's just such a big city in New England that I think of it as its own state almost.
As its own kind of entity.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's big. It's bigger than Portland, I think.
Yeah. So you guys have a lot of New England people that go?
Yeah. Like not a lot of New England out-of-staters. I don't think we have too many foreign students. I know that we do because I've had classes with foreign students.
We have a lot. We have quite a few.
Yeah, but we get a lot of like. I mean, obviously, we get a lot of Portland students. I say obviously because I know what college I'm from, but I don't think the viewers know yet.
No, I get that. No, a lot of people from that area.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think only about maybe 20% of the population
really
are from Maine.
From Maine?
Yeah,
wow.
I think so.
Well, I mean, that makes sense considering our kind of economics in Maine.
Oh, yeah, 19% of that 20% of people from Maine are from, like, coastal Maine. Like, the rich, affluent Falmouth, Cape Elizabeth.
Like, not rural Maine.
Scarborough. No, not at all.
Not even close. You think from Portland?
Oh, there's quite a few from Portland. Actually, a couple of my really close friends are from Portland. Matt, if you're listening to this, hello. Probably not.
What's up, Matt? I don't think you know who I am.
Matt is a great man.
Yeah?
He is a phenomenal man. I met him on my first day at Bates, and we talked about school board and steaks.
Matt Watson from Super Mega?
Close, but not.
No.
At all.
Matt's in Cali. Matt Watson.
Yeah, I met Matt from California in Portland. I don't know.
I thought you were actually
dude,
serious.
I'm just trying to go down some sort of comedic line.
No way, dude. I was on the money with that. No.
I remember I did meet Olympia Snow.
I don't know who that is.
It's a politician.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 12 years old, and I was wearing my Sunday River hat, and I was bald in the picture because I had a buzz cut.
Oh, okay.
And
no, you just.
It was little of me talking to Olympia Snow, oh my gosh, and I had no idea who she was. And then I'm like,
you have a cool name, wow.
Literally, it's Snow? That happens in Maine.
Like Jon Snow?
No way. But yeah,
wild.
That was pretty cool. I met her, and then,
I thought you meant bald as in you're just going bald as a 12-year-old. You have a receding hairline. And I was like, you poor thing, man.
Oh man, I looked bald because I had blonde hair when I was younger.
Right. Yeah, and it's a buzz cut.
And it was buzz cut, so it was just little old me. Little weird old me. I was so weird as a kid, man.
I was extremely weird.
I think we were all weird as a kid.
Yeah. It also depends on your background too, man.
That's true. We should dive into our weird childhoods in another episode because we've hit an hour.
We have hit an hour. I'm still feeling good about it. How are you feeling? I think we go for the extra 15, honestly.
Are you serious?
I'm saying we go the extra mile.
Extra 15?
Extra.
Pew, 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 pew. I like how we could easily edit those noises in.
Easily. But it's more organic.
Authentic? Yes, organic.
Yeah.
Organic chemistry.
Like organic bananas. Yeah.
I hate bananas.
Well, I hate you now.
Oh, no.
You don't like bananas or oranges. We've talked about this.
Okay, well, no. Wait.
Oh, you don't like... Wait, hold on. You don't like orange juice.
Orange juice.
Orange juice.
Oranges are okay in
still a sin.
It's... No.
Yes.
No. Oranges are okay in my book.
For you.
Mandarin oranges are really good.
Yeah. Those aren't blood oranges, are they?
I don't...
Blood orange, like the reddish oranges. Those are really good.
I don't think so. But
probably not. I think it's just a different kind of orange.
Can we agree on one thing that's gross? Brussels sprouts?
You think Brussels sprouts are gross?
Don't tell me you like them. Don't tell me you like... Get out.
My room, you get out.
Okay, so listen, I got a story about this.
No, I want to start.
Okay, you start.
Because I want to explain.
Okay.
I think the smell is disgusting. They smell gross when you cook them because people boil them and stuff.
And they taste gross.
If you have salt and pepper and some butter, they're tolerable.
I shut down.
Really?
I'm not listening.
I didn't like them for a long time.
Okay. Well,
but I mean, I've had good Brussels sprouts and bad Brussels sprouts.
I haven't had any good Brussels sprouts.
Would I be like, Brussels tonight? No. Nobody's excited for Brussels sprouts at night. Come on, man.
But you would eat them and be okay with it?
If there was nothing else, I'd be... Well, not even if there's nothing else. If it's a nice, vegetable to the side, a side vegetable, and it's like, okay.
No.
I'll taste it.
I can't.
It's got to be really seasoned, though.
So, when I was a kid, I really hated Brussels sprouts. Right?
As you do.
As I do now. But, I would gag on it, right? I would literally gag.
Well, they are nasty when you're a kid.
So, I had this memory, blah, blah, blah. And, fast forward, 10 years, I'm 20 years old and sitting at my mom's table, and my mom cooks Brussels sprouts, and I don't touch it.
As moms
right?
do. Yes.
But my fiance, Alicia, is like, Travis, you should try it. You haven't eaten it in 10 years.
Eat your greens, dummy.
You might like it. I already had green beans. Thank you very much.
Eat your other greens.
But she's like, you might like it. And I'm like, well, I really don't know. I hated them as a kid, and I probably will hate them now. And she's like, no, just try it. And literally, I put it in my mouth, and I had the same exact reaction as when I was 12. Okay?
Yeah.
I gagged. I almost threw up. I spit it out, and I felt weak. I felt weak and dizzy, and I wanted to cry.
Is that because of the taste?
It's the taste, it's the texture, it's the smell, it's all of those.
I think the smell is gross. I think the texture is okay.
No.
Depends on how you cook them, too. But it's an acquired taste, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think your taste buds are just designed against them.
My taste buds are terrible.
My taste buds.
My taste buds.
Bad to the bone.
Bow, 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 bow.
There you go.
I know how to play that on guitar.
You do. I know how to edit videos. Yeah.
Oh yeah, touche, my friend.
Yeah.
What other
see that coming.
vegetables did you like hate as a kid? But like
as a kid, all of them. I didn't like any vegetables as a kid.
I was the same way.
I was like, give me corn. Like that's like give me corn and potatoes.
No, I'll eat a lot of veggies.
Not that those are vegetables, but they're starches.
Especially if it's in like a stir fry or something, dude. Oh.
Stir fries are good. I love stir fries.
Dude, I gotta show you the picture of the stir fry I made the other night.
Yeah.
And you can plug it into this podcast and show how amazing of a cook I am. But look at that.
Oh, I saw that the other night.
Look at that. It's a chicken stir fry with green beans, carrots, multicolored carrots, corn, broccoli, spinach, mushrooms.
Yeah.
The works, dude. And
what is that? Is that radishes? What's that red?
That's the carrots.
Oh.
It's actually, it's like multicolored carrots.
Not radish. I was thinking of beets. It's a beet color.
Well, it kind of looks like a radish, too. Radishes are red.
Yeah, it's a radish like shape. But it had the coloring of like a beet, like kind of like a deep purple red.
Very tasty, dude. And like 10 years ago, honestly, even like 4 years ago, I would not have touched that with a fork.
Because you had peppers in it, yeah?
Oh, I also had peppers.
Yeah,
yes,
peppers,
thank you. But I hated all those as a kid.
Same.
And I hated those until
I didn't mind carrots.
Until Alicia forced me to eat my vegetables.
Yeah, I didn't like a lot of like greens. Like I still don't really like green beans that much.
Really, I like green beans.
It's just they're really watery and like.
Oh, have you had fresh green beans?
Like maybe
you should try
probably at some point.
Super
just
fresh.
Like raw, fresh. Like
oh well, not even just raw, but like you take
just
like
fresh.
Green beans and cook it, and like it's so much better fresh than like out of a can or anything.
Fresher is better always.
Always better. Yeah, all the veggies I had in my stir fry were fresh. Every single one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Went straight to Hannaford.
What's the point of multicolored carrots?
I think it's just something different.
It's just, okay. It's just kind of grown differently?
Just different color.
Grown in different regions
yeah,
or something?
I think so.
Maybe a different strand of carrot?
Actually, you know what? I don't know if the carrots were fresh or not. I know the rest of the veggies were because I bought the rest of the veggies. But
same thing with corn. Like there's like black corn? Blue corn?
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of different types of corn.
Yeah, red corn. Yeah. Whatever. A lot of corn.
I like corn. I've always loved corn.
I've always loved corn.
You want to hear a funny story about vegetables when I was a kid?
Why wouldn't I?
It just came to mind. So when I was a kid, once again, plugging this in, I hated vegetables. Right. So every dinner time, right, I would go and be the very first one to pick up my food because my mom would always make me eat my veggies and wouldn't let me leave the table unless I ate them. So I started going and getting my meal first. And I'd go into the dining room, and it's kind of secluded from the kitchen, and no one else could really see it. And I would take the vegetables, right?
You would.
And whether it be carrots or green beans or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would put them into my pocket.
Wait. You put green beans in your pocket?
In my pocket.
Wait a minute.
And then before everyone got to the table, I was like, I need to use the bathroom.
Oh my God.
And I'd go downstairs.
You didn't even like.
I'd flush it down the toilet.
You didn't even like cheek them. You know?
No, dude.
You didn't even like put them in cheek and
straight into the pocket.
Go to the bathroom real quick.
And then the funny thing is, I got caught doing that a couple weeks after I started.
Surprised.
Because my dad, after I quote unquote went to the bathroom, he went to the bathroom.
You didn't flush.
No, I flushed.
Oh.
But then he walked upstairs and he was like, yo, Travis, can you tell me why there's a carrot floating in the toilet?
Oh, no.
And my mom, you should have seen her, dude. Like,
pissed.
Rage in the eyes. Like, she just dropped her fork and, like, gave me the, like, deadliest look I've ever seen in my life. And I immediately felt the guiltiest I've ever felt in my life.
Because he got caught.
Yeah, literally, dude. Like, and my mom was like, ever since then, I was the last one to get food.
Yeah.
And I would always complain about it because, like, come on, Mom, just let me get it first. I'll eat it. I promise, Mom. I won't do it again.
Hungry boy.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a funny little vegetable story.
It was. I can't believe you put. You would have like wet pockets after.
Dude, I didn't care as long as I didn't have to eat my vegetables. I was happy, dude.
I remember like if we had like really tough meat and it just took forever to chew, I would just like spit it back into a napkin and I would just kind of like I can't. It's not going down.
Well, if it's tough meat, then don't eat it. That's disgusting.
But yeah,
like
I mean, that's
super well done steak.
I don't think I was smart enough to be like, I'm gonna put this somewhere where people can't see it. Grab my food first. Go upstairs to the bathroom every time you eat vegetables.
Yeah.
That's
I got away with it for like 2 weeks.
That's a system.
I don't know how, dude. I was a clever cookie.
Probably because nobody would have thought of it. Like, oh, Travis is going to the bathroom, flush some veggies. Like, I don't. It's not a normal thought.
It really wasn't.
No.
I was a strange kid, dude.
Yeah, same. I think they were all strange kids going back to that.
Shameless plug as well. Talking about super tough meat. I used to like all my meat well done. I was that kid.
Yeah, now you like it medium well or whatever.
I mostly medium.
We've gone to a restaurant. I think it was Longhorn or Roadhouse. And you're
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. And you were like, "Can I get this like medium to medium well or whatever?"
Well, I say that
is medium rare to medium well or something like that.
No, medium to medium well.
Medium to medium.
And the reason I say
like, that is so specific.
Well, no, the reason I say that is because if you say medium, they'll come back with a steak.
Where it's like well done.
No, they'll come back with a steak that's rare.
Really?
And I hate it because I have to send it back and I have to sit there waiting for my food and I have to make this altercation, this weird conversation.
Where it's like, can you cook it more but not?
Well, and the thing that bugs me is like the chef should be able to cook a steak. Like I go there and I pay $20 for a steak. I want it done right.
Right.
But every time I go out, I have to say medium to medium well. That way they know. Okay, that way they know if I'm gonna mess up on this, it's gonna be a little bit more done than not done.
I was gonna say if they mess up on this, there will be hell to pay.
Right, exactly. No, because I like a nice soft pink in my meat.
Yeah, I like it a little bit more pinker than that.
I don't like though. I don't like the ruby red.
No,
like once you get to that point, you're eating a raw cow.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like seriously, well, I guess cows are raw by nature until you process them into beef. Is everything raw? That's a good philosophical
like edible?
question.
Everything edible?
Well, no, just
or
raw.
Is it everything?
Am I raw?
No.
Bite me and find out.
Bite me and find out. I think in the context of like meat preparedness, you would be.
That's gross.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gross.
I'm gross. Are we the gross guys? Kind of like, are we the baddies?
Oh, yeah.
Are we the baddies?
Oh, my God. Dude, this episode went off the rails. I'm just saying it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I love it.
What is that 35, 40-minute mark?
Like, seriously? From there on, we just...
Yeah, out of nowhere, really, too. I feel like. We'll have to go back and watch it, but, yeah.
It's like walking through the desert blindfolded. That's exactly what we did.
Yeah, it was, like, educational for, like, half of it, and now...
we're just shooting the breeze.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're tired. We're recording... We're pretty much ending this recording at 9 o'clock right now.
And I worked 12 hours.
You worked 12 hours. I went shopping today. That's all I did, really.
Well, did you exercise today? Oh, no, today's Sunday. Yeah.
Well, I was going to go to the track today, but then you're like, I'm going to come over for a podcast. And I was like, okay.
Screw your healthy habits, Jesse.
Well, because I had two options for my recovery days. I want to go down to the track and do like 50-yard sprints. That's ambitious.
Gone.
Ambitious. But also there's this thing that my trainer said that was like, set a timer for 10 minutes, do one push-up, one jumping jack, one squat. That's not much. That's not...
I can't even do one push-up, dude.
You're like, and I'm like, oh, okay. Sure.
I could probably do 10 push-ups, honestly.
Yeah, people underestimate themselves.
I got a lot of top heaviness, though.
Yeah.
And thunder thighs,
But you got big arms and stuff, too. Like, it balances out.
The client I worked with today said I had thunder thighs.
Thunder thighs.
That was really
I wouldn't be ashamed of that. Really?
I don't know.
Be proud of your thighs.
All right. I guess thick booty's okay.
Body positivity.
Hell yeah, man.
Anyway, but the exercise, you do the three things. So you do one of each first minute, and then you do two of each on the second minute, and then just kind of keep doing that until you get 10 minutes.
God.
So that's for like conditioning, which is why it was either do sprints until you're pretty much exhausted, or do the 10-minute thing.
That's kind of
just for conditioning. It's honestly an optional thing.
Yeah.
My trainer didn't like plan that. Like, he didn't have that in his plans for like the weekend. But I was just like, hey, like I don't want to just be goo. I don't want to be a pile of goo when I'm in recovery.
No, that's
days.
Fair.
Yesterday I was so incredibly sore.
You need
those
days every once in a while.
And Saturday was like recovery, like do nothing recovery.
Right.
And today I still want to do like a little bit of exercise, kind of get the heart going up and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I'm gonna be working out 4 days a week again.
Nice.
So we're doing 4 days a week every week.
That's awesome, man.
For like 2 months, because I started, maybe like 2 months, because I started at the end of June, gonna end at the end of August. So it'd be like 2 months of working out.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, hope to see some gains, some what is it called?
Progress.
Yeah.
Progress.
I can't think of the word. Results. I want to see results. Results. Yeah. Want to see those abs, baby.
The numbers. What do they mean?
What do they mean? It's an illusion, you know.
Everything's an illusion.
Everything is an illusion.
Dude, I'm tired.
You're already here. I know, you've worked a lot.
We
went through a long episode today.
For you, viewers out there.
I meant for me.
Well, yeah, for you too.
And I was like, I did say we should go an extra 15 just because, we're talking already.
For you, Jesse, and the viewers.
For me and the viewers.
But mostly viewers. No offense.
Real quick, what should we call our viewers?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
On the spot?
Yeah, on the spot, man.
How about our mindful...
Yeah, mark that up for a note from me, dog.
How about our whatevers? You guys
whatever.
No, that's so mean.
I think that's a bit demeaning.
You guys are just whatever.
Or the whatevers. I was thinking like the Wadhams or the Wadhamers or something.
I kind of like Wadhams.
The Wadhams?
Kind of, sort of.
It's terrible.
Tell us what you guys think. Yeah. Give some suggestions in the comments.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we'd like to see more activity in the comments.
We read all the comments, so don't be afraid. if you got it this far, like, say something, man.
Yeah, we'd love to interact with all of y'all.
Yeah, definitely. We love the feedback.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I think...
So ended it on a good note.
Yeah. Positivity.
Body positivity. Positivity in general. Be considerate.
You know what's really funny? Really quick, I just saw the intro and I almost read the intro off to say bye.
So I opened my phone up for the outro because I always forget it. But as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be sure to let us know what's on your mind. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Later.
Peace.